Hi, and welcome to the Maria Sanchez Show, and thank you for watching KADYTV.com. It's our privilege to have your eyes. If there's anything that you'd like us to know about, investigate, report on, attend, promote, we are there for you. So just log on to our website at KADYTV.com, which you're on already, because obviously you're watching, and contact us, and we'll be happy to see what we can do. We have in studio Don Facciano. How did I do?
That's good. I like that inflection.
Don Facciano. He is, why is he in studio? Because he is running for the county treasurer tax collector position. He was one of 7 that was in the primaries in June. The 2 top vote getters were our guest this morning, as well as his opponent, who we had the privilege of meeting last week. So Don, thank you for taking the time to be with us. And before we get into your candidacy and the position of treasurer tax collector, let's talk a little bit about your life and your time here in Ventura County and how long you've been a resident and your family and little
personal stuff?
Yeah, personal.
That's the best part. Well, believe it or not, I am a native Californian. There's not too many of us who were born here. I was born and raised in San Francisco, went to college for a while, then I went in the Army. After I got out of the Army, then I attended San Jose State College, where I graduated from. After graduating from college, I went to work for a Fortune 100 company you might have heard of called Sears Roebuck, where I was an executive management trainee. In fact, if you can believe it, I actually took a pay cut from college to go to this executive management training program because I was on the GI Bill. I worked part-time in an Italian restaurant, and I actually took a pay cut. Anyway, started my career off, went through all the chains of executive management trainee, divisional manager, merchandise manager, staff man, store manager, etc., all the way up to be a senior executive with Sears. I lived in 11 different cities for them.
Was that the norm then?
Yes, at that time we moved quite a bit. To get promoted, you needed to be what we call flexible and movable. Tough on the kids. My son went to 3 high schools.
Wow.
That was the only hard part. When the kids are young, they adjust better than we do, the adults. But see, when I go to say, I mean, I've got work, I've got things, and we were always taught when you go to a city, you become involved.
Right.
You join the Chamber of Commerce, you join Rotary, and my habit was to pick 2 big charities to belong to. And I've always believed you don't just belong, you become active. I would become a board member, many times I become president of those organizations. But actually in Ventura County, I've been here since 1980. When I managed the North Hollywood store, I lived in Westlake Village and commuted. But I have had homes in that time in Westlake Village, Simi Valley, 2 in Oxnard at the beach, 2 in Ojai, and now I live in Camarillo.
You're making me feel not so abnormal because my children love to talk about how many homes that they've lived in our lives. And fortunately, in the last 10 years, I've only moved 3 times. Mine has been about lifestyle changes, not profession. So, but it's because I'm always curious. I have friends they got married, they bought that house, they had all their children there. Their children are grown now, and my kids say to me, "Can you imagine living in the same house your whole life?" That's not been their experience.
It's a different generation, don't you think? I know my mother, since I was 2 years old, lived in that same house. In fact, she used to get upset when I'm going to put you in pencil from now on. I'm tired of putting in ink and scratching things out where you are and your phone numbers and everything. And until she passed away, she lived in that same house all those years in San Francisco. In fact, I kept it for a couple of years, thinking I would use it, and my sister's in Reno, so we finally decided to sell it because we weren't using it, which is kind of silly.
Now, Don, tell me, when you came to Ventura County in 1980, you were with Sears then?
Yes.
And you stayed with Sears how much longer?
I was with Sears for 34 years.
Wow.
And we got a golden handshake in '93. I retired. Then I lasted about a whole 2 months out of boredom. And I happened to be on the Oxnard Chamber of Commerce board. They lost their executive director and they said, "Would you run it?" So I ran it. So I ran that for approximately 5 years. the Oxnard Chamber of Commerce. Then I left, and the last decade, until September 1st of this year, I've been president and CEO of the Ventura County Taxpayers Association. See, this is how I got involved in all this government, and particularly this office. I'm also president and CEO of the World Affairs Council, so I run that. But on September 1st, in order to campaign, I just couldn't do it. I wasn't able to do things with this job, so I did resign after a decade. I loved it. Mixed feelings to do that, because I also sit on 10 different boards in Ventura County. Again, like I said, I believe in being involved. In fact, on these boards, 2 of them, which help experience for this job, I'm president of the bond oversight committees on how the bond money was spent for the Hueneme School District, Ocean View School District. I'm a founding director of the Ventura County Business Bank. In fact, I'm secretary of the corporation on that. See, again, being involved. But my favorite, you should ask me what my favorite is.
What's your favorite,
My
Don?
favorite is the Oxnard Port Hueneme Boys and Girls Club. I just received this year my 25-year pin, and been very, very heartwarming dealing with the kids. The biggest event of the year is coming up, the commercial plug, on November 13th. The biggest event of the year is the Donald K. Facciano Auction for Kids. It's our major fundraiser. I've also still on the board, been chair of the board 3 different times, and I hold the National Bronze Medallion Award from National Boys and Girls Club.
Wow.
So of all the charities I'm in, all the boards, yeah, I'm a little prejudiced on that one.
Good for
Because
you.
it's kids. It's
Right,
kids.
right. Which the investment in our future with our children is really something, because I've always said I think from kindergarten on, the salaries should go down, because we get them at their brightest and their most eager. That's when they set up their study habits and their appetite for learning and all. And then, I mean, no slam on professors in the universities and colleges, but when you've got them in your hands and they're 4 and 5 and 6 years old, and that's when you can start that fire, and that's our future. It's an investment in our future by investing in theirs.
I agree. You have to give them a safe place to go. We have so many latchkey kids, both parents working, because they have to in these economic times. We give them a safe place to go. And it's just not all games and funs. You know, we have the computer lab. We have the teach them about teen pregnancy. We teach them about diet is very important right now. Cal Lutheran just did a study showing that the graduation rate is 50% for many of the high school kids. Boys and Girls Club kids, 90s, in the 90
Really?
percentile. The pregnancy rate, look at the difference between the kids that aren't in the Boys and Girls Club versus ours. It's almost non-existent.
Is that right?
You work in the drug, yeah, the study's available. Cal Lutheran did it, independent, and we're trying to show people you're actually saving money by investing in the kids, because you don't have to do it later on.
Right.
And that's our future. Our children are our future.
Now, before we take a break and go to our next segment, which we're going to devote mostly to the position,
Sure.
why you're running, et cetera, why don't you just talk a little bit about your family? You've been married.
Yeah, Hazel and I have been married for 25 years.
Nice.
Our son Richard is a recent graduate of Cal Lutheran and UCSB. He lives in Santa Barbara. His girlfriend is going to Bolt Law School up in Cal Berkeley.
Okay.
So we're quite pleased on him. We now live in Camarillo on there with our slim 110-pound golden retriever, Marco. No, he's just big boy. He's
big boy.
Yeah, he's big boy on that. And we love Ventura County. When I retired that first time, I could have gone anywhere I wanted. I had friends tell me, come to Arizona, come to Nevada, the equity in your home, you buy one here. And I go, excuse me, my friends are here.
Right.
My contacts are here. And talk about lifestyle. I was assigned to Arizona for 22 months. You notice I counted. I love California. And I have lived in California, in San Francisco, Modesto, Stockton, San Jose, Visalia, Riverside, San Diego, and back again in San Francisco. Ventura County is the best place. Trust me.
We have a little adage that we talk about on the program, that it's that we live in Mayberry. And whether you're East County or West County, we're proud of Ventura
Yes.
County. And it's somewhat like the unknown secret that we all are in on and that nobody else really knows. It's that blip that you go from Los Angeles to Santa Barbara.
Well-kept secret.
Yeah, well-kept secret. So Don Facciano is our in-studio guest. He's running for treasurer tax collector, and we will be right back after we have a brief break. You're watching the Maria Sanchez Show on KADYTV.com. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Peter Godinez from KDTV.com. I'm here to announce a new show that we're all excited about here called Meet the Boss. Now this is about all your friends and neighbors who own businesses and being able to support them in their causes and helping them stay healthy. So save this program in your favorites, make sure you spread it out to your friends, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all here in Ventura County.
Welcome back to the Maria Sanchez Show on KADYTV.com. Thank you so much for your eyeballs, and please make sure to share us with your friends. We are about the county, by the county, for the county. So if it's happening here in the Ventura County, we want to know about it. We would like to be there. We would like to help promote it. We would like to help support it. So as soon as we launch in terms of our daily program, all of these interviews that we've done thus far are in our archive. So if you missed it or you can't watch it all in its entirety, you can always go back and watch it again. But when we do go live Monday through Friday, we're going to be featuring a local nonprofit every day as well. So if you are watching and you're one of them, please let us know, and we'll put you on our exhaustive list. There are over 2,000 nonprofits in Ventura County alone, and they obviously serve a very vital service and function, or else they wouldn't be in existence. And especially in these tough economic times, we want to help promote them as much as possible. And to that end, we have Don Facciano in studio with us. Don is running for treasurer tax collector of Ventura County. Don was in a field of 7. And in June, with the primary, the top 2 vote getters were the ones that are put into the general election, or eligible, shall I say, have the esteemed honor of being on the ballot. And Don and his opponent, who we have already interviewed, are the 2 choices for the county. So in our last segment, we talked a little bit about what Don has done and what brought him to Ventura County, his wife Hazel and his son and family, and the fact that you reside in Camarillo. Now we're going to talk, why are you running for treasurer tax collector? What is it about the position that appeals to you, and what do you want to do if you are elected?
Well, the first thing is, in the first time in over 30 years, it's been really open. Ventura County has a kind of a history of the incumbent always winning and hardly anybody ever runs. And so really this, or the other thing is, the incumbent, about a year before retiring, leaves a year early. They appoint the assistant, and the assistant runs as the incumbent. It happened to the person in the job before. It's happened in the DA's office, the sheriff's office, although this year was the first time that was open also. It's happened in most of the offices in Ventura County. So to answer your question, one of the few times it's kind of wide open. That's why I feel so many run. There were 7 that ran. There were 2 or 3 more that were going to run until they saw there was so many. Why? As being the past president and CEO for the last decade of the Ventura County Taxpayers Association, this is a natural flow and segment for me. I attended all the supervisors' meeting. I became heavily involved in the pension crisis and situation, have been following the budgets, have been involved in government locally for quite some time. So it's just a natural. And I'm not the type that retires. I told you in the earlier segment, I lasted 2 months in that retirement, and I had to do something. I think it's important that you still have that fire in the belly. You still want to do things. Like the first third of my life, I learned. The next third of my life, I earned. This time, I want to give back to the community that I love. For the last 30 years, I've met a lot of people. It's a great place. I wish to give back. I wish to serve. And I have the qualifications. There was a little hullabaloo in the beginning about people, were they qualified. All 7 candidates that ran in the beginning are all qualified. You have to have certain requirements on that. But more important is, how are you qualified? You need experience. You need experience in managing people. You need experience in money. Well, having worked for a Fortune 100 company, Sears, I've been in charge of thousands of employees, small groups, big groups. Practical experience, hands-on experience. Money-wise, I've been in charge of doing the budgets, assets, credit, sales, you name all these different money things. You have to have that experience also. The difference is you have a very qualified person in that office who does the day-to-day investing. In other words, the treasurer's part of the job, there's over $2 billion to invest, over $1 billion from the county.
That was B, as in billion. $2 billion.
Bigga,
Yes.
bigga.
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility.
And the other is from the special districts like schools. But you have a man who's in there every day doing the buying and overseeing. The treasurer actually oversees that job. It's your job to watch out. But are you the one on the phone making the buys, doing all that? Institutional? No, you are not. You have people who do that. But you do oversee that. Think of it as the county's banker. Mm-hmm. The other side of the equation is the tax collector side, where you collect the property taxes. You want to do it in an efficient way. You want to do it in a transparent way. Can you improve? Sure, you can always improve. First thing you want to do is bring back integrity to the office. A couple of years ago, there was a bad situation under the public guardian's office of malfeasance, and it destroyed some of the credibility, I feel. That has now been removed from the treasurer's office to a separate entity. It is under control. But if something happens on your watch, as a manager, I always learn, I'm responsible. You let your people take credit for the good stuff. Something goes wrong, you talk to me. I'll take that responsibility, and I'm willing to do that. And you want to have the esprit de corps. You want to motivate people. There's no I in team. There's no I in team. And this is what you must do now. The old days of telling people, dictating my way or the highway, they're gone. They're gone. People don't take that. They're more intelligent now. You've got to motivate them. So I think a big part of the job is managing people. I bring that experience, real experience of managing people. You know, you can walk the walk, talk the talk. You got to do both on that.
Now, am I correct in understanding that the staff at that office is over 30, right?
Yeah, 36.
Yeah. So you're talking about managing those
That's correct.
3 dozen people.
That's correct. You have some in the treasurer's office and then the balance in the tax collector's office.
Now, I don't even know, where is the office located? Is it in
In
the
the
government
city,
center?
in the government center, in the big civic room where all the supervisor meetings are. If you come in the door, just bear the right. You can tell the tax time with the long lines. That's what you can tell. So yeah,
Now,
it's right there.
are there any issues that you know of that are outstanding, that need more attention, that you would like to devote your first, say, year and a half to getting some of those kinks out, or maybe make collection, I don't know what, in terms of delinquency and that sort of thing, for property taxes?
No, that's pretty good. Actually, they haven't had to auction off properties. They haven't had the problems on collections. That's well done. There is a third phase in the office, though. The treasurer sits on the pension board, a 9-person pension board. And what's in the headlines right now? Think Bell. That never happened here. I'm not saying it would happen, but it's made people more conscious now on that. There has been a lot of controversy on public pensions. Public employee pensions could bankrupt us if we continue on the same vein. We need to make reasonable reforms. We have an obligation to the people who now get a pension. A, it's legal because we have contracts. B, there's a moral obligation. But where I'm coming from on that, and having been heavily involved in this pension situation, is the spiking in the last year. See, in the corporate world, you take your last 3 years, average it, your pension's based on that. In Ventura County, it's the last year, which enables you in that last year to spike it. Sell back your vacation time, the sick time, the car allowance, the uniform allowance. There are different things you can do. But that's only on the top people. The average employee, no, they're not doing that. My main thing is there are some reforms we need to look at. People are living longer. Maybe we have to change the age.
Life expectancy.
Maybe with the economic conditions, people have to give more into the plan themselves. There are things we can do without hurting these loyal, valuable county employees. We must, business is doing it, we must look at that, but the one I'm featuring on is the spiking in the last year of the pensions.
Now, that can't be a comfortable conversation, because I know anybody who is dependent on their pension or planning on it doesn't want to hear that it's going to be threatened in any way, shape, or form.
It's not threatened.
But it seems to me anytime you bring it up, everybody gets their hackles up, and it's like, okay, no, get out of my space, because this is my piece of the pie. So I would imagine that's quite a challenge to try and introduce reasonable dialogue.
I know, but there's 270 people in Ventura County that receive pensions over 100,000.
270?
Yeah, 270 receive a pension
Now,
over
I
100,000.
understand they won't release those names.
There is a lawsuit to release those names being brought by the Ventura County Taxpayers Association right now. They're waiting for a court decision that they can do it. Some places already release those names.
Yeah.
And it's not do anything to these people. It should be public knowledge. You should know. You should know. It's your money. It's your taxes. You should know what's being paid on that. But again, the average person doesn't get that kind of money. Not talking about that. And those are the ones you want to reassure. Nobody is going to hurt you. We just have to think, what do we do next? You know, we do have two-tier now, where the people being hired now can be hired at a different rate or different benefits, not affecting those in the past.
So
it can be done.
Not going to grandfather, but it'll start, which seems to me reasonable. I mean, something's not right. The economy is hit hard. We don't want to go bankrupt, and if we can, you know, it's like you're going into it knowing that that's okay. It was that way. It's not that way now. Well, that's the way it is in terms of the economics of.
We can't go on the way we're going.
Right.
We have to change. What's the best way of doing it? And I think there are ways of doing it, yes.
That sounds
and I would be
reasonable.
specific on those, i.e. the spiking. That's a specific.
So we will take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to go into more details about Don's vision for the position of Treasurer Tax Collector, and also, as with any campaign, there's the need for volunteers, there's need for donors, and we'll find out from Don just exactly what he'd like to hear from our viewers. And of course, my personal adage is one voice, one vote, one paycheck. Everybody counts and everyone matters. So if you care, now's the best chance to get involved. You're watching the Maria Sanchez Show on KADYTV.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Peter Godinez from KDTV.com. I'm here to announce a new show that we're all excited about here called Meet the Boss. Now, this is about all your friends and neighbors who own businesses and being able to support them in their causes and helping them stay healthy. So save this program in your favorites. Make sure you spread it out to your friends. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all here in Ventura County.
Welcome back to the Maria Sanchez Show on KADYTV.com. If you are keeping this as your little secret, like we love to keep the quality of life in Ventura County, don't. Share it with your friends. KADYTV.com is about the county, by the county, for the county, and for that very reason, we are privileged to have Don Facciano in studio. He is one of the 2 candidates for treasurer tax collector right here in Ventura County, and the elections are next month, November 2nd, Tuesday. You have until October 18th to register to vote, or if you've had a change of address, you want to request an absentee ballot, so make sure that you get your vote in and that your vote counts. And we've been speaking with Don this morning about his life, about his family, about his career, and then last segment, finally, what it is that he was hoping to achieve and accomplish by running and being elected for treasurer tax collector. And had one of the most brightest and factual conversations ever about the pension, so I want to thank you, Don, for illuminating us in that regard. That was, as we were saying at the break, I always hear people talking from emotion and not speaking with information, and they talk about their feelings instead about the facts. And yes, of course, we're all entitled to our feelings, but in order to solve problems, the feelings have to be kind of parked to the side, and then let's get into the information. So, Don, tell us, too, about your campaign. What, if anybody can help, what would you like to solicit from our viewers?
To elaborate on your point, I believe the taxpayers of Ventura County will make the correct decisions if they have the information. I guess the most frustrating thing is, whether it's state propositions, whether it's our issues on this race, people knowing the facts, like you said, on the pensions, because I do believe people will make the right decision if they're informed. I have faith in the people. As far as this race goes, it's a challenge because it's not the glamorous race of governor and the state senator. In the primary, we had a I don't want to say heated, but an involved race in the sheriff's race, the 5th supervisual district on that, and you got a lot of excitement. And nobody gets excited on the treasurer tax collector. I mean, they just
It's
don't
not sexy,
get,
that's for darn
it's
sure.
not sexy. Therefore, it's hard to raise money to run. I was outspent 4-1 in the primary by my opponent. Figures which are being released today. I'm leaving from here right now to go turn in figures at the county, as a matter of fact. And so I know I'm heavily outspent as far as that goes. So yes, one always needs money. One always needs volunteers to get the word out. Signs are important. That's why we came up with that, and I earned the title as president, CEO of the Ventura County Taxpayers Association, as your government watchdog, because I was watching how your taxes were being spent. That's what I did the last decade. So we came up with this idea, the bulldog. If you've seen the signs in the orange and the black, San Francisco Giant colors, by the way, who just won the pennant. I thought I'd throw that in. I'm still loyal. And
it's nice to have a team to root for. Ours left, the Rams. We're heavily saturated with baseball, but I grew up as a Los Angeles Rams fan. And when they left, I'm sorry, I couldn't follow them.
Second biggest market in the United States, and not a professional team.
It is
and I'm a sport
embarrassing.
fan.
I know.
First thing I read in the morning is my sport page. Sorry, not editorials, not in. I read my sport page. I got to have my scores on that. But yeah, it is a challenge on that. And they go, what's treasurer do? And so you try and tell them you're like the county banker and you're investing the money. The tax? Yeah, you're the guy we got to write check to. Yeah, that one they get. That one they get to. But yeah, the glamour's not there. It is expensive to run because this is a county race. It is the only county race. All the other ones were settled in June, by the way. So this is the only remaining county. You've got some city elections, you've got the state elections, national elections, but this is the only county race.
You know what? I'm really glad that you're clarifying that, because that hasn't really been stated. I mean, because we have Congress, when we're having him, the opponent, in later this afternoon. And then the initiatives are statewide, obviously.
Yes.
But the cities have some of their own, as you mentioned, but this is the only county one. So
That's right.
Thank you for clarifying that.
That's right. So it's important.
Yes.
They're all important. And I believe, you can just go in and do your job 8 to 5. But I think if you're an elected official, you have an obligation to be involved and speak out. And you're answerable to the taxpayers, to the voters. You are answerable to them. I don't have an agenda. I don't owe anybody anything. I don't have to worry about giving somebody a favor or doing anything like that. You're in there to do your job and do it well, and make everything transparent, bring back integrity to the office, support your employees, and run it like, some say government should be run like a business, but after the Wall Street fiasco, I got to be careful what I say on a good business. Let's put it that way. You want to run government like a good business.
A profitable one.
It's all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
When I got my first major assignment, you have this is what I mean by being involved. I just don't delegate, you're involved. Your name is on the top of the P&L, profit and loss statement. And the VP told me, he said, Don,